Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams, Gabe, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on.
Wednesday night on GameTime, Decisions live on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh with you for the next 90 minutes as we look to set it up and knock it down here with a Major League Baseball board that is already ongoing and a WNBA slate which is primed to deliver. We've got 4 games in the W, and the biggest one tonight is in Sin City. The Vegas Aces at home look to keep the win streak alive and get to 19-14. It would be the most games over 500 for them if they tack that win on, because the current 18-14 is the best they've been in terms of games over 500. Vegas has won 4 in a row, gaining ground when you think about postseason positioning and where could there be a potential edge seeding-wise. Vegas at this moment does sit 5th, Phoenix in front of them. That's a tough draw. Could the Aces get hot enough to maybe get to that 3rd seed where they wouldn't have to be playing a Minnesota in round number 2? Those are the kind of things that can certainly make a difference. I'll say, though, what a change in tone to speak about Vegas this way. The Aces season has felt over a handful of times. And I can point to all of them where I went, all right, time for me to stop believing in this. When they got rolled by Golden State after a win in Seattle, when they lost to the Indiana Fever, who didn't have Caitlin Clark by a gazillion as they fell back down under 500, when they went to New York to play the Liberty, and it felt like they could make a statement, and instead of doing that, they were rolled up in the 4th quarter and then followed that by losing to the Washington Mystics, and again, we're 2 games under 500. The incredible thing for this team is they've now won 6 of 7. The loss is a historic one. Vegas lost to the Minnesota Lynx at home by the 2nd biggest margin in the history of the W. 111-58. 53-point rout. They've picked themselves up off of the mat. They beat Golden State 2 times in a row, who had, prior given them troubles. They beat Seattle in a close one, handled business against Connecticut, and handled business in an important way. Because it would be very easy to look at the 8-point win against the Sun, a non-cover, in a game where Aja Wilson was out of this world and think, wait, you only won by 8 when Aja gave the first ever 30-20 game in the history of the W, 32 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, playing 37 minutes in the game. But in order for Vegas to be Vegas, they need Aja to be Aja. And make no bones about it, Aja Wilson has still been one of the 5 best players in the W. It's that Aja Wilson had been on a run where her status as best in the world was unimpeachable. She right now doesn't have a case for having a better year than Avisha Collier. Aja getting back to this level is massive. And the Aces, once again, with an opportunity here to make a statement that they are back sounds strong, but really getting there. Because you can hand wave the wins. At Dallas, team's not great. At the Sparks, they're playing better, but still. The Valkyries, Seattle's a nightmare right now. They're playing tonight, looking to stop a 5-game losing streak. The Sun are awful. Wrapped up in this winning of 6 of 7 is that loss to the Lynx. So Vegas needs to prove it tonight against a Liberty team who are on a back-to-back West Coast trip, just played the Sparks and won that game. Their head coach for the Liberty, Sandy Brondello, now has the most wins in the history of the franchise as a head coach, and they were celebrating that last night. This is a Vegas spot as Stewie still not back yet from injury. It's a Liberty team that hosted Minnesota with no Collier and couldn't get the job done. So if Vegas wants to offer up any semblance of a capability to win the WNBA championship, something I bet them to do before the season, it starts tonight. Or it continues tonight. We'll figure that out. My best bet tonight comes in this game. And it might sound like I'm on Vegas. I think a part of it is I am on Vegas as somebody who's invested in their WNBA futures. I am on Jewel Lloyd. One of the changes this year for Vegas is putting Jewel Lloyd to the bench, and she has responded with some incredible three-point efforts, and largely because that's where she's giving herself the opportunity to contribute. Jewel Lloyd now sees 70% of her field goal attempts come from beyond the arc. Prior to her moving to the bench, that number was 53%. We're at 70% for Jewel Lloyd. We're getting 2+ made threes at -120. In a big game where I think Jewel Lloyd will be ready to answer the bell. Didn't get this in her last game, so it's a little bit of a bounce-back spot. Give me Jewel Lloyd for 2+ made threes tonight for a best bet coming from the W here. Our crew steps up for best bets as well, of course. Koski satelliting in as he is on vacation. Goes Mets. Run line, fading Carlos Carrasco. AJ, Marlins Guardians. He's going to go over the 7.5, fading Gavin Williams off the near no-hitter and fading the Miami Marlins, throwing Yuri Perez in that game. Pats will take the run and a half with Baltimore at -140. Yarnell steps up, says give him Scotty Scheffler. Best in the world, didn't win last week. How many times is he not going to win consecutively? I'll root this in for Sam. I'll say this. I might follow his logic if he doesn't get home this week, if he doesn't cross the finish line of the BMW, and play Scotty next week. That sounds tempting to me. I think that's something to keep our eye on. I'll also add this quickly because we're going to go through your baseball board, but we're going to expand on the W card with Coach James Young coming up very shortly. I went run line crazy tonight. There were 3 spots. I said, you know what? We'll alt it or play it. Reverse run line, whatever it might be. Give me Yuri Perez and the Marlins. Yuri's been really good. I think it's a clear and obvious fade Gavin Williams spot. I think AJ can get home on the Marlins alone. 8-2 type of baseball game, legitimately. Give me the Marlins. We're going to lay the reverse run line. Give me the Cubbies. Horton's been great. I'm willing to fade Gaussman. Chicago can get back in the win column here. My goodness, they need to. If they want to put anything that resembles pressure on this Milwaukee Brewers team. Can't stop, won't stop. 12 straight. Headed to Cincinnati for 3. And then it's that 5-pack at Wrigley I've been talking about. But in order for that to matter, might as well win big if we got me. Might as well win big if we got me. Cubs laying the run and a half. The Marlins laying the run and a half is +182. The Cubs laying the run and a half is plus 176. And then this will be the least surprising play of the day. They make fun of me in the back. They should make fun of me in the back. I'm making fun of myself. Astros. Laying the run line here with Houston. Hunter Brown against Walker Buehler. This is a get right, show me something spot for Houston. Your presumptive ace on the mound. I understand Walker Buehler's been better. I understand they've won 5 of his last 6 starts. But Walker Buehler's still hardly an ace. Astros just lost yesterday 14-1 to this Boston team. And the pressure from Seattle is more than mounting. Both teams at 67 and 53. Astros got to get it done at plus 134. Get it done in a major way. That's where we sit, getting you ready for a Wednesday night on the slate. We'll be right back. Game Time Decisions is live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
There will not be a no-hitter for Gavin Williams today. First at bat, Xavier Edwards. It's 1-0 Marlins. It's 1-0 Marlins. We're scoreless right now in Cincinnati, Philly, by the way. That game got off to a slow start due to a little bit of weather. That's Chris Sanchez. That's Hunter Green. That's an important one for the Reds. That's an important one for anyone holding a Chris Sanchez NL Cy Young ticket. Some weather delays out there in Baltimore and in New York with the Mets and the Braves and the Yankees and the Twins. We will keep our eye on all of that. But we have to get to the WNBA slate tonight, and there's no one better to do that with than Coach James Young, host of the Betting Above the Rim podcast right here on SportsGrid. covers all things hoops, and that means we're covering the WNBA tonight. JY, it's great to talk to you, as always. Let me just start with a 7 o'clock Sun Sky game that maybe some people want to get in on. Then again, those people are sickos. But JY sometimes is as well. It's a 3.5-point favorite status for the 5-26 Connecticut Sun. Are you in the mix in this game, JY?
JY got a bad case of the flu because I'm in there like swimwear. I'm taking under Sky Sun 158. Why? I'll tell you why. The Sky have scored under 75 points in 4 of the last 5 games. 2 out of 4 games, the Sun have scored under 75 points. The last time they played, Kevin, it got to 144. And they're the bottom 2 teams in effective field goal shooting percentage and true shooting percentage and also offensive rating and assist to turnover ratio. Oh, by the way, and Angel Reese is not playing tonight. Give me under 158.5 in the game tonight.
Now, I'll say, and you are sick, and I love it, but I guess, JY, the sickest amongst us would be playing the total in Mystics Valkyries. Because I see a 158.5, 159.5 you mentioned for Sun Sky. We're 10 points lower in Washington, Golden State. I mean, 148.5, 149.5. Coach, you're on the W board, throughout the season. Have you seen a total this low all year?
No. I've seen like 151.5, 152.5. I haven't seen anything in the 140s, Kevin. And that gave me a little bit nervous. But to me, in this game, I'm just going to take the Mystics on the money line. One team is 9-6 at home. The other is 6-10 on the road, right? Here is the other thing, Kevin, and you know I'm going with this as someone that's a coach. West Coast team off a long homestand, first game on the road on the East Coast. That's a spot where I kind of look at the Mystics team, who Sonia Citron, we talked about last night with Sonia Citron, how she's looked. Kiki Ariafa been playing well. Shakira Austin's coming back playing well. I know they lost Brittany Sykes, but the Valkyries are 2 different teams, home and the road. I'm going to take the Washington Mystics on the money line. I think they win it. I think they're going to try and make a play for the playoffs.
Joe, I don't mind that look at all. I want to say the books not giving me what I wanted in this game. You mentioned Brittany Sykes out. Not only led this team in scoring, led this team in assists. Sonia Citron, as they get a little bit more comfortable, JY, it seems to me, a little bit more on-ball responsibilities. I don't know if you're seeing this as well. Maybe they're throwing doubles her way. She had 6 assists in her most recent game. That tied a career high. 4 in the game prior to that. Look, it's a small sample size, but she's only played 3 games since the trade of Brittany. This is probably the best 3-game run she's actually had passing the ball. I was hoping for like a point, rebound, assist combination, but it's another thing to keep our eye on for the Rookie of the Year race that both Coach and I discussed yesterday, where I at least don't think Sonia Citron is out of it, and maybe more responsibilities for the rookie coach with that Sykes trade.
Yeah, there's more responsibilities come on to her a little bit. Maybe J.C. Shelton, who came over in the trade for Aaliyah Edwards, went up to Connecticut Sun. But yeah, to me, I look at Sonia, and they're going to give her responsibilities because also Georgia's out. Georgia Moore, obviously the star transfer from Virginia Tech, followed Kenny Brooks to Kentucky. Missing the entire year. So I think this is it's a weird spot for the Mystics because I think they're making a run at the playoffs. Remember, Kevin, they also have, I do believe, 3 first-round picks in the WNBA draft next year. So they're kind of playing with house money, trying to go for it a little bit. But to me, I wouldn't mind seeing Sonia Citron get in the mix of the assist and rebounds prop because she now takes that responsibility as being a leading scorer, which means if you send double teams out, like you say, or hard heads play differently on ball screen stuff, now the assists get going a little bit more because she's got to give the ball up.
Now, Coach and I are going to talk in our next segment about Liberty Aces. It's a big game. We wanted to kind of clear out a little bit and give that one its own time. Late, though, we get Seattle and Atlanta, and it's a 5-game win streak for the Dream against a 5-game losing streak for Seattle, and Ryan Howard makes her return for the Dream. I don't know, JY. These usually feel like storm spots. They usually lose close. I'm staying away from this game. Are you getting involved?
I'm getting involved, but I'm not touching the game, Kevin, because I can't get a read on the Storm team because the Storm have been playing so bad with close games that they could turn around and win by 15 points tonight, right? So where I'm looking at Alicia Gray to go over 16.5 points. She's went over the last 4 games, but you say to me, well, Coach, Ryan Howard's back. Well, the last 10 games that Ryan Howard has played, Alicia Gray went over 16.5 points in 7 out of those 10, right? And it's not like Ryan Howard is going to come in and play 30 minutes first game back. They got to work her way back into this. So to me, Alicia Gray over 16.5 points. And then I'm going the other way and Megaber over 5.5 rebounds. Oh my goodness. She's gone under in 6 of the last 8 games, right? But one game against the Dream, she's got, I think, 9 or 10 rebounds. The Dream are the #1 rebounding team in the WNBA. And with Brianna Jones and BG as your 4-5, you must rebound if you're going to win. So because of that, I'm going to go with Megaber over 5.5 rebounds tonight.
Just to drive this point home, the Seattle Storm's 5-game losing streak is they are minus 17. Their biggest loss is 4 points. It's all been close. We'll see if they snap that tonight. We take a break, though, here on Game Time Decisions. When we come back, it is the main event with Coach James Young. The New York Liberty go to Las Vegas and try and slow down the Aces. We'll talk about that next.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
The Yankees have an 80.7% chance of still making the playoffs. That just tells you that parity is alive and well in Major League Baseball, where mediocre teams can still make the playoffs, and the Yankees are mediocre but have above mediocre talent. So if they can put it together, you still got an 80% chance of playing postseason baseball.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I was that confused trying to figure out why Cameron Young isn't as good as he should be, because we've seen all the flashes. Like at some point of his career, he's been elite at something. Like he's been elite at putting this year. He's been an elite iron player. He's been an elite driver of the golf ball. So check out this chart I had to get.
We got a chart.
Look at this chart that I had to come up with.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
An HRR, parlay a combo that you want to do. I generally prefer away teams and players that hit at the top of the lineup or in the top half, just because you are guaranteed just that extra plate appearance here or there. How many times, throughout the season, I've been like, listen, if this guy gets on, he will have one more at bat in the 9th inning. And if he doesn't get there, he doesn't get there. If you just take them that place higher, they're going to be in a spot to cash that bag.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on a Wednesday night. Still plenty to get to here in this start to the show. But I tell you, there's some the fighting Craig Mishes, baby. Those Miami Marlins. We're seeing a lot of juice early. That's 4-0 fish. That's 4-0 fish. We like what we're seeing here. Good stuff. We are going to also, just to remind everybody, Cam Stewart's here in about 20 minutes, a little bit less, probably 15, let's call it. Get some picks for the BMW Championship at a Cam, which I can't wait for. And we give you a little preview of what the week's going to look like here on Game Time Decisions as OK Dubs heads to a cruise and Tom Vecchio steps up and in. But before we get to any of that, Coach James Young is with us here still, and JY, Aces Liberty. And to some degree, I didn't let JY talk me out of anything related to the Aces yesterday, because if he wants to, I wanted to save it for today. JY, they've done it. They've roped me back in. I think they get the job done tonight. I think it is a super Vegas spot. They've set me up for heartbreak. What are you seeing here tonight? What are you expecting from Vegas, New York?
Well, listen, Vegas has played by far their best basketball of late. And there's a couple of reasons why. You mentioned Jewel Lloyd to open the show, and the ability to have her, for having her coming off the bench and putting the ball in her hands and kind of staggering, the minutes between her, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, and then instead of just force feeding them, right, Kevin, all together, has kind of unlocked Jewel a little bit. But there's another move that really isn't getting a lot of credit, and that's Nalissa Smith getting traded to the Vegas Aces, as I may have to take over for a little bit here.
Please do, Coach.
So, when you look at that matchup here between these two teams, with Nalissa Smith now in the starting lineup, she's only giving you about 7.2 points per game, maybe 6.5 rebounds. But I've said this for a long time. It is having Kia Stokes as a starter just doesn't work with me. So I think they're a lot more dynamic and they're a lot harder to guard. So to me, I look at Nalissa Smith in regard to being a big difference maker in regard to how this game swings. Now, you got to remember, folks, the Liberty are coming off a back-to-back where they got pushed to the limit, scored over 100 points versus the LA Sparks. So to me, when you go to the other side, now the Liberty now are the second favorites to win the WNBA title behind the Minnesota Lynx at plus 150. Obviously, Minnesota getting that big win over the Liberty. As you can see how the title odds have changed. Now, you got to remember, folks, that Minnesota has been playing without Nafisha Collier. There are rumors that during this 4-game road trip that Stewie's going to come back. Here's the stats for Nafisha Collier: 23.5, 7.5, 3.5% shooting at 54%, 37% from three, 91% from the foul line. And for the fact that they've played really great basketball. So when you look at tonight's spot, this is a tough spot for the New York Liberty team. So who do they have to lean on? They have to lean on Sabrina Ionescu at 19.4 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 40% from three, 31% from the three-point line. 40% from the floor, 41%. So to me, I'm looking at this game actually going under 172. I think they can keep this game relatively close to the vest. Now, you've seen Emma Messman step up and have big spots for the Liberty so far. Her props are a little bit inflated to me with Messman. You know me, I'm not a big under guy, but you're looking at Emma Messman's points prop, looking at about 14.5. I'm a little bit concerned with guarding, how she guards, and it's how she guards this person. And that's Asia Wilson at 22 points, 9.6 rebounds per game. I think you will get, obviously, a great performance out of Asia Wilson. Maybe look at the double-double market for Asia Wilson as it's at 10.5. So let's see how much minus money
casinos offer European roulette. So if I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams, Gabe, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I kind
I
of
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams, Gabe, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Well. Game Time Decisions, we're back here on this Wednesday. And, earlier today I was talking to someone about the Taylor Swift appearance on the New Heights podcast, and they were wondering if perhaps it would crash YouTube. And it turns out it somehow crashed our set here in New Jersey. We're back, some technical difficulties, but no worries. We are here with you on this Wednesday night. We've got live baseball right now. The Reds took a one-run lead up on Philadelphia. Miami's still up on Cleveland, but Stephen Kwan did get one back. A lot more starting to pick up on this Major League Baseball board, and we're going to get into all of that here on this Wednesday night. But it is also that time again here on Game Time Decisions to talk to the one and only Cam Stewart. Cam tonight. And I imagine a lot of people will be pumped about this. In-game live with Gabe Morency, which is an absolute treat for the people. Cam, great as always to talk to you. How are we doing on a Wednesday?
We're doing pretty good there, Kev. I got to tell you one thing. Great picks last night. Gabe was on the Dallas Wings. We got that done over in the late game with the Sparks. We both had the Sparks. You can't win them all, Kev, but pretty good night on the diamond, except for Gabe's Dodgers struggling versus the Angels. What the hell is going on here? But tonight, Kev, I got to believe, with Mr. Ohtani on the hill, not just hitting dingers, I'm expecting a great pitching performance. If you can't get it done tonight, when are you going to get it done? Dodgers -1.5. We'll go back to the well. It's not my style. I'm usually dumpster diving. You know what, Kev? The A's came through for me. I like those type of teams. Even the Rockies. You know what I mean? Like once in a while. That's my dog kennel. Rockies, A's, guys like that. But you know what? Tonight I'm with Gabe in the premium seats, not in the nosebleeds, with the Dodgers.
I like that. The Hollywood pick, Dodgers laying the 1.5 with Ohtani. I see it. I'll tell you, I continue to find this Ohtani season so fascinating, Cam. He's an incredible player. We all know it. I'm not trying to bag on him. But my goodness, does everybody keep bowing out of these MVP races? Nobody wants to challenge the guy. PCA having this incredible season. He's, I believe, 3 for his last 37. He can't figure it out. It looked like Soto might put a season together. Nope. Kind of a lower level now. Most everybody else is injured. Heck, half of Ohtani's teammates don't step up to the deck here. He runs away with it, yes, because of his greatness, but I look around the rest of that National League, and nobody seems to want to get into the ring with him.
It's a great point. Another thing, too, though, Kev, like sometimes the books get it wrong, and we were talking about home run props, and Ohtani's already hit it. We're in August. We're not even at the midway through the month right now for the season. So those tickets cash, but you're absolutely right. If you want to beat the man, you got to show up for the fight, right? I'm with you. PCA too. Couple huge at bats against the Blue Jays, where the Blue Jays struck out. They left a lot of runners stranded in that game, Kevin. Another big win. I know you, Dane Martinez, Kurtz, and the rest of you Yankee backers. You're like, who the hell are these Toronto Blue Jays? It's just unbelievable seeing these guys at the top of the division. They've always had the talent, Kev, never put it together. And that playoff loss that I went to against Seattle, where they blew that 8-1 lead, and kids were crying on the train home, Dad, what happened with the Blue Jays? Son, just going to tell you a lesson early in life. Toronto teams will always let you down. Kids like falling on the train. Anyway, good life lesson from Dad early after they blow a 7-run lead in the playoffs. But anyway, I digress, Kev. It's been quite a year, and let's just keep the train rolling, buddy. So we got baseball, big WNBA slate tonight too, buddy. Like I know it's packed, and it's Golf Wednesday, so I like to bring out the golf clubs. Oh, Kev, last week,
Cam,
Tommy
I wanted
Fleetwood?
to ask you about it. Cam.
I already went wild.
I can imagine, and I don't want to, beat a dead horse. I'm sure you've talked about it enough. But my goodness, I thought it was so poetic because truly, for anybody who didn't see Cam and I talk last week, Cam taught me that we've never seen Tommy Fleetwood win on the PGA Tour. I didn't know that. And I was like, how perfect. He's going to put this thing together. He's minus money going into the weekend. Can you just give me a little insight, Cam, into the roller coaster that was?
I'll tell you, Kev, after the first 2 rounds, there was a time he had a 6-shot lead. I'm like, I'm happy, not comfortable. And it was that Saturday. The problem with Tommy Fleetwood, it's one loose shot, and it usually water ball, plug bunker. It's not just like, he hits bad shots. He also gets pretty unlucky. He was going to call a penalty on himself too, but the ball didn't move. Like if he caused it to move, he would have been another penalty stroke. But know what it was, Kev? He starts off with the lead. He loses it in 2 holes. Honey, I'm going to the Argo game, the Argo Red Black Canadian Football League game. See ya. I'm out the door. That's what I woke up to. Tommy Fleetwood double bogeying the easiest hole on the course. She sees me. She goes, you look red. I go, yeah, I'm always red. But anyway, then Kev, on Sunday, he actually fights back after a horrible front 9, takes the lead. He's got a two-shot lead, 4 holes to go. Rose is a little bit back. Scheffler. And then bogey's the easiest hole on the course again with a loose wedge, and then lets everybody back into the tournament. Misses a short putt. Know what it is? I told a lot of golf guys this today, Kev. You know how Tommy Fleetwood's going to win his first tournament? I've seen this movie before. He's going to have to go in, post a 63, sit back, have a Guinness, and watch it, and then go, and the winner's Tommy Fleetwood. I don't want him in the final group on Sunday. I need him to be out earlier and post a number. That's how he's going to win.
But tell me this, though, Cam, because you mentioned you don't mind going dumpster diving or going with the dogs if something's ugly. How much, if any, consideration did you give Fleetwood going into the BMW?
None.
Fair enough.
None.
Fair enough. I wouldn't either.
And if he beats me this week, like, what do I do? Put my head through a brick or
That's a vendetta.
Like glass? Yeah. No, maybe I'll walk on some hot coals just to upset myself some more and my pocketbook. But I got to tell you, after a loss like that, I can't bet this guy. Too much stress.
Don't do that.
He almost won.
Yeah. Don't put your head through any glass. That's all right.
Oh, I've done it before.
I can imagine. I don't listen. Hey, You know, everybody does a little bit of backyard wrestling at some
you're
point.
You're a wrestling guy
I know.
who takes one for the team when Boss Rutan chokes me out for real and I'm snorting like a pig.
I let them try to power bomb me into the
Resi.
pool a couple of years ago and supposed to go into the water. No, I went into the side of the pool. That's why my back's been messed up for a decade. We'll be right back with golf picks.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams game, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I kind
I
of
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions is here on a Wednesday night. We're joined by Cam Stewart. You can catch him tonight on In-Game Live with Gabriel Morency. They'll be going through the full slate here, baseball, WNBA, and anything that is possibly out there. If there's some CFL games on, and they'll, of course, continue to get you ready for another big-time playoff event here on the PGA Tour. So let me just give it to you, Cam. Who are you betting here heading into the BMW Championship?
I'm going to usually take, Kev, for a tournament, you take a six-pack, so me and your dad decided to go out and bowl, and we took 3 off the ring. We got 3 left. So I got 3 golfers instead of 6. Cameron Young is one of the best players on tour lately. Form is very important in golf, right? He won. He was on page 1 of the leaderboard last week, and he finally got the monkey off his back. What do you need at this course? You need distance. It's 7,600 yards. Who hits it big? Cameron Young, and he hits it straight, too. Love him this week at 28-1. Now we're going to talk about a guy that played well to get into the BMW Championship for the top 50 players. Is Kurt Kitayama, UNLV product. Very, very solid, Kevin. And know what he is? He's kind of an all-or-nothing guy. When he's there, he can win. And at 50-1, playing well, I love it. And one of my dumpster picks, but in really good form and starting to creep up every leaderboard, Andrew Novak at 90-1. Novocaine. He's hot right now. 90-1 is a great price. Talking to people who also like golf, they're saying Hideki Matsuyama at 45-1 could be dangerous. And out of the chalk, Xander Schauffele's taking some money. But I'll tell you this, Kev. Scotty Scheffler can bring his D game, and he's almost a lock for a top 5. You're laying juice with this. So there's certain things you have to do in golf where you're like, nah, I'm just going to avoid certain players and attack things this way because this guy is unbelievable. He didn't even play well, and I'm just going, oh, my God, he can win again. Every single week, this guy. So
it's remarkable.
I hate the price. It really
it's
is.
remarkable. Minus 250 for a top 5. I mean, minus 600 for a top 10. It's totally out of control. It's out of control. Cam, I wanted to ask you about one guy specifically. I've always known for you to call him the Irish Bear. It seems like Shane Lowry blows up every course recently he shows up at and kind of has himself a tough go at it. But we know he's a talented player. I don't know if he can win it outright. He's 70-1. But is Lowry someone you would be interested in potentially in matchups, finishing positions, or is he a fade?
I actually didn't even consider Lowry just due to the fact, you know what the problem with Lowry is, Kev? He can't put 4 rounds together.
Yeah.
In the United States. And the worst is when the wheels fall off, it's not a 73, it's a 78, 79.
Yep.
He's taking you out of your top 20 position bets, and people are raging. I've talked to, a lot of guys about this. He's just one of those players, when the wheels fall off, it's bad. Can he play well? Yes. And I will say this, Keith Stewart at the network, he's a very good golf handicapper. He likes Rory this week. Rory's 8-1. I want a little bit more. Well-rested, long course. What does Rory do? He's the best driver of the golf ball, and like Tiger Woods, who is the best of all time, knows how to cut corners, go over trees, shorten a course, and he's already the longest player off the tee. This course will suit him big time. I just don't like the price with him, Kev. That's what I'm looking at right now. But Rory, I know I did a couple golf shows today, and a lot of guys like him at plus money for a top 5.
All right, so we'll keep our eye on that. What about some other finishing positions, Cam, before we let you get out of here, who you are interested in heading into the BMW?
Kevin, J.J. Spawn is becoming Mr. USA. I really want him to make the Ryder Cup team. His putting's impeccable, won the U.S. Open. You're going to give me J.J. Spawn at plus 175 for a top 10, I'm in. Patrick Cantlay, the last time this course hosted a big event, Patrick Cantlay won. He's not having a great year, but he's trending in the right direction. And at plus 135 for a guy that I think can win the tournament, I'm going to take him in the top 10 markets, Kev. But my outrights, Young at 25. We got Kitty M at 50 and Novak at 90. I think I got a couple first-round leaders for you. Did I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's get those.
Oh, Kev, you know that.
Oh,
that's
boy.
Like the core. It's the quarter horse racing of golf. Can I make money in one day and roll it over into all my other sports? Cam Young, I always play him first-round leader. J.J. Spawn, great starter, great finisher, 30-1. And Ash K. Batea, little guy, but really, really good on Thursdays at 45-1. Also, watch out for Bud Cauley at 60. But those are my guys, Kev. Hopefully we hit a winner, not a top 3 with Fleetwood last week. Because if I'm in that situation again, like if Kitty Yama takes a triple on the final hole, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's not going to be good.
Listen, I'll tell you this, and you know this, Cam. You will have me rooting for you, and you will have the Walsh house rooting for you as well as always. Cam Stewart, the absolute best. He's on In-Game Live tonight with Gabe Morency in 30 minutes, so make sure you're here on SportsGrid. We'll talk to Tom Vecchio, get some of his thoughts on tonight's slate. It's all coming up on Game Time Decision.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams, Gabe, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Guardians Marlins, it's still 4-1 Miami. We are also underway in Houston, Boston. Astros, baby. Don't break my heart. Listen, we'll go double behind the scenes, all right? I feel like it is a 90% chance that me and AJ behind the scenes, you see his best bet, rooting that over. Marlins Guardians are going head-to-head on these Astros these days. And, they don't win every game. But this one is I'm done with this team. Taking a shot. I'm like, well, surprise, surprise. He's like, I already know you like Houston. We'll see how it goes. It's an Urfi in Toronto, Chicago. It's still 1-0. Cincinnati up on Philadelphia. And we're still waiting for some other games to get underway due to weather. Let's check in with our guy, Tom Vecchio, and see if he has anything else on this slate. But first, a reminder, it'll be Tom Vecchio. I was going to say in this chair. That's misleading. It'll be Tom Vecchio in that chair on this show, Thursday to Wednesday, holding it down on Game Time decisions. You're going to be in great hands. Tom is on the slate each and every night, so you will be set up perfectly there. Tom, talk to me. Anything for you right now on the Wednesday?
Well, I will be hosting GTD starting tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, as you said, next week, Monday through Wednesday. I do the Phillies money line. I think it was minus 130 or 132 earlier in the day. They're obviously down 1-0. Middle of the sixth, they're not scoring a whole lot of runs, which isn't great. I know Hunter Green was back, but he's still a pitcher that I have some concerns with overall walk rate, home runs, what have you, and really just get to the Reds bullpen, which we know can be a little bit shaky at times.
Yeah, it's a spot where Cincinnati is running the risk of having a very similar game to the opener in this series, where it was 1-0 heading into the eighth.
Mm-hmm.
They lose that game 4-1. You'd really like to hold on to this year if you're Cincinnati. It's something I've talked about on the show, Tom. If anybody's going to collapse, it might be a little strong, but if anybody's going to fall out of that NL playoff picture, it's the Reds who catch the knife. It is likely Cincinnati who sneaks in, but they got to be opportunistic. They got to win ball games, and they're getting healthier. Hunter Green back here. Looks like he didn't miss a beat, but they have to be opportunistic, and this is the chance to do so.
Yeah, this is something that Donnie and I spoke about on Pro Baseball today, where would they lose 3 of 4, and they lost the first few games against the Pirates at the end of last week. And that was when the Mets were on a 6 or 7 game losing streak. Like, you were chasing down the Mets, and now you are facing the Pirates, and you are losing back-to-back games versus the chasing down the Mets, and then you lose back-to-back games versus the Pirates. Like, that is not being opportunistic. Like, that's the time if this team is going to prove that they belong in the playoffs. Those are the games you got to win.
Yeah, I'm very curious what we get in this Cincinnati-Milwaukee series that is on the way. Where are you, Tom, right now on Milwaukee? 12 in a row. It's every day, right? It's every single day with this team. They're not World Series favorites. The reality is they're not going to be. Unless Ohtani went down with an injury, nobody's going to be booked as favorites. They're dropping. They're down plus 850, still behind Philadelphia. Where are you on Milwaukee?
I honestly think it, and I've said this about a lot of teams, but I really think it comes down to who they have to play in the playoffs, because right now it's looking like they can lock up the number 1 seed, which will obviously, shake the bracket out. And if the Mets grab a wild card, I think they can beat the Mets. Now, can they, and obviously it depends on, they have the Mets have to play the Cubs or whatever, what have you. Can they beat the Phillies? Because, again, front-end pitching for both teams is very, very good. Can they beat the Padres? That would be a very tough series. The Dodgers then potentially falling into a wild card, that represents a different wrinkle in things. So I think the Brewers can move on to the NLCS. It really comes down to the path. I'm not sure they're as good as the Phillies when it's all said and done, especially the Brewers on the road in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think the problem for me, and we did Kevin 7 on last Tuesday with the top 7 teams. I think we're going to get into a little bit of Kevin 7 with Tom tonight. I want to get his takes on my 7 season-long player props from yesterday.
Oh.
But when we did that, I think you like these, Tom. And feel free to push back, obviously, wherever you want. We'll get to those in our upcoming segment here. But I don't have regrets of not putting Milwaukee in because they are obviously winning nonstop. But I don't find myself still overwhelmed by their talent. And the lesson of it all is it can be a long season. And you're right, where the bracket lands is going to matter. But I'm not so sure Milwaukee wins the Central and then plays the Cubs, and I all of a sudden tell myself, yeah, man, it's going to be Milwaukee, no doubt about it. Right? I'm not saying they have to prove it more. That sounds so unfair. It dismisses, this incredible run that they are on. But it is a very long season, right? And things change. I'm still holding on, I think, Tom, to this 5-game series in Wrigley Field that comes up in a week. I can't get rid of it.
So are you saying they're going to lose, what it says, an 8-game lead now?
I think that's absolutely on the board. I think it is.
8 games in 6 weeks, call it?
I hear you.
I understand that they are due for regression, and they're even just the winning percentage will drop. So, they over the next 10 games, if they go 3-7, obviously the cumulative span of it's called 8 games, so a 20-game sample size. If they go 2-6 in that span, obviously the sample size is 20 games. They're would be 14 and they'd be 14-6 over that span, which obviously any team would take in any 20-game set. But losing an 8-game lead at this point in the season when theoretically they're only going to get healthier. Jackson Chourio is going to come back. He's awesome. Miz is going to come back. He's awesome. They're only going to get better as the season goes on. They are doing this shorthanded.
I think, and look, it can be a blind spot for me, but you have 5 games in Wrigley Field. Now, it is paramount that the Cubs don't let Toronto sweep them in this series, if not beat them again in this series. But when you have it's going to feel big. That's my read on it. I think it's going to feel big to see the Cubs and the Brewers in Wrigley. And it starts, Tom, on a Monday doubleheader. It starts with a Monday doubleheader. If those both go to the Cubs, the numbers are going to move big time. And it's still going to be a what? At worst, 5-game lead, probably. Even if they lost the first 2, right? 4-game lead. I think maybe because of the, listen, I put work in to figure that out, and I can be wrong. But I think because I know those 2 teams are about to play so closely head-to-head in Chicago, I'm not going to change anything I think until that point. That's how I feel.
Okay. I mean, that's fine, but getting to that point, losing, they're not going to lose all 5 games of that series.
It's incredibly unlikely.
The best case scenario for the Cubs is for them to win 3.
No, that's not. I don't agree with that. I don't agree the best case scenario is to win 3. I don't agree with that.
So you don't think the Brewers are going to get swept, so you think best case scenario is that the Cubs win 4?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I also think, to be fair, though, Tom, if I would have said, hey, the Angels who already swept the Dodgers are about to play a 3-game set, what's the best case scenario for them in this series? You'd be like, I guess. Yeah, what would be the best case scenario for the Angels in that series?
Another 2 wins.
Right, and the reality is, since they've now won the first 2, it's not minus 600 for the Dodgers tonight. It's not likely they beat the Dodgers tonight. We see things happen in baseball. We see these incredible runs. Listen, at the end of the day, Milwaukee's on a 12-game winning streak. You're not supposed to go on 12-game winning streaks in Major League Baseball. They've been impressive. We'll reset this maybe in the middle of the Wrigley Series. Look, they win the first game of the doubleheader. I'm out. I'm out probably. So I'm putting a lot of stock into something. We'll see how it looks. We're going to take a break. We'll update you on the baseball board. Let's talk some season-long player props with Tom. I know he's got a couple of his own. Let's see what he thinks of mine next.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
You know, out of 30 teams game, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on a Wednesday night. Red Sox take one back from Houston. Cubs get one off of the Blue Jays. It's 2-1 Astros. It's 1-0 Cubs on Toronto. 4-0 Cincinnati now. Navoli Marte just with a single, and then there's an error, and there's a whole lot of stuff happening. It's 4-0 Reds. So they're now in a decent spot to take a series off the Philadelphia Phillies. We're here with Tom Vecchio on this Wednesday night. Tom will be hosting Game Time Decisions for the next week here, which is absolutely fantastic. And I am sure Tom will mix in some NFL season-long player props. It's a market, Tom, that I know you always love to get into the mix with. How in the mix are you right now here in the middle of August?
So I have placed a single player future in the NFL. That's going to stay under the hat till sometime later during the show. The rest of the players, like my normal player, I'm going through the process now of everything. And, I have one that really jumps out to me, which I don't want to say it's right up your alley, but it does involve Jalen Hurts. It comes down to the Eagles defense has to replace 5 starters from last year. And this is not to say that the players taking their spots this year were not on the team last year, but they are replacing 5 starters. I'm going to say that the Eagles defense is factually weaker this year than it was last year. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not as good as it was last year. I think that's very fair to say. So Jalen Hurts over 3,200 passing yards. Last year, he finished at 2,903. So a couple of factors. A, the defense is a little bit weaker, which means that they're not playing from, in front by as much this year. Also, let's just say Saquon isn't pushing for 2,200 yards, whatever it's going to be. This means at the end of games, instead of running the ball X amount of time, they're now running the ball Y amount of time, which just means a little bit more passing for Hurts here or there. So he's at 2903 last year. He needs an extra 300 yards to get over 3,200, which means not 300 yards in one game. We're talking 20 yards here, 30 yards here. A little extra passing game by game pushes him over a cumulative extra 300 yards for the entire season.
That, Tom, is why we talked about this, and you'll likely give your take on this exact topic throughout the week, is why I think Jalen Hurts is going to be QB1 in fantasy. And I am trying to figure out if it applies to the MVP market, but I don't think that's a one-to-one correlation, actually. But
there's things holding him back. Because I was thinking about this earlier today.
Okay.
In what world do you see Jalen Hurts passing for 4,000 yards?
So the thing is, I do not think he needs to. Josh Allen last year didn't pass for 4,000 yards.
Okay.
So here's what I would say, Tom. I think it is consensus that Jalen Hurts is going to have his best passing season of his career. When you combine talent plus need to, I don't think that's much of a stretch. If you combine yardage and touchdowns, I think that is a fair expectation. Did you think that's I think that's seems to be the expectation you have, no?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. He had 3,700 yards. I don't know how many, 2 seasons ago, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Or 3 seasons ago, or whatever it was. I don't remember how many touchdowns he had off the top of my passing touchdowns, I should say.
His 2 seasons prior to last, he threw for 3,722 touchdowns, and then he threw for 3,858 and 23 touchdowns.
So he needs to bump those touchdowns, passing touchdowns at least. He needs to get those into the low 30s at a minimum. That needs to be like 33. And he needs to have 33, 35 plus 10 on the ground at a minimum for him to be in consideration for QB1.
But the thing is, again, Jalen Hurts, 4 seasons as a starter, rushing touchdown total, 10, 13, 15, 14.
Yeah.
I mean, and the tush push is going nowhere this season. And I almost wonder if that works in double advantage, right? Like they might tush push it from the 4 just to prove a point against Green Bay.
But last year he had the most rushing touchdowns of his career, correct?
No, he had one less. He was on pace to. He was on pace to.
I'm still pretty sure he didn't finish top 5
in points per game at the quarterback position.
No one cares about points per game. We're talking about cumulative points. If that's what QB1 is, cumulative.
Oh, that's okay. So where did he? So he played.
He finished 8th last year.
Okay, and that was with missing
2 games.
No, not really though, because he didn't play Week 15.
So he played 15 games last year.
But not really. If you remember, that was the game against Washington. He got injured in the first quarter.
And again, but all this factors into being QB1. If you were talking about literally being QB1,
100%
game matters.
Right. So
and it's not saying that Josh Allen, because Josh Allen played a single snap against New England in the final week last year and he's out. Obviously, that doesn't matter.
Who were the top 3 quarterbacks last year in fantasy football?
Lamar, Allen, Burrow.
Great. And I think Hurts is as likely to miss time as all 3 of those guys, right? Hurts happened to be the guy who missed time last season. That's the way it worked. So, those are the. But again, I'm not banking on that this year entering into this situation. I don't think that is. Again, to me, it is as likely that Burrow or Lamar or Josh miss time. I believe that. You could maybe push back on Josh because he, is kind of an Iron Man, but it can also be freak.
It's true. I'm just even if you factor in his game by game average and add it to his total from last year, it still doesn't bump him into the top 5.
We're talking about an uptick in passing for Hurts unanimously here between you and I.
Yes, 100% agree.
So I would say Jalen Hurts, 4,000 total scrimmage yards, we agree on. 13 rushing touchdowns. He's now done 3 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
I think the passing touchdown numbers will increase. And, in the market, season-long player props, it's 19.5, right? But you know this, a lot of those numbers are shorter than, what makes sense. They almost, I don't know if protect against injury is the right phrase, but they expect it in the season-long player prop market.
Sure.
So you need to find a number.
If you're confident in this, I would ask for an alt line and have him go for 25 plus.
Oh no, there's a 30 ticket in the pocket. We'll be right back. Oh, that's.
Want to play roulette? Here's a tip. European roulette has a lower house edge than American style. The lower the house edge, the better shot you have at winning. Most online casinos offer European roulette. So, if I were you, I'd get spinning. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Out of 30 teams game, only 10 have a winning record against left-handed pitchers. 10-19, and there's one team that's 12-12.
See, I
think it's the Yankees.
Yeah. See, I didn't know the exact number, Scott, but I would have, I knew where you were going with this. In which there's just not as many left-handed hitters. They're not as good against them.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You have to imagine it'll be Rory and Tommy. So that is just such a strong foursomes pairing. And then I look over here at the Americans. I'm like, golly, if Patrick Cantlay, they just need him to make the team because you got Scotty and Russell. If Xander's going out, you have to him and Pat have been so good in the foursomes. Bryson's going to have to play. Who's he going to play with?
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Wednesday night on SportsGrid. It's Game Time Decisions. We appreciate you sticking with us here through some technical difficulties, but we made it work. Up next, it's going to be in-game live. Cam Stewart and, of course, Gabriel Morency. So make sure you keep it here on the grid. They'll be covering the full slate tonight, which will feature plenty of W. The Valkyries up big already on the Mystics. Same for the Sun over the Sky. The Major League Baseball board right now still waiting for some of these East Coast games to get going due to weather. But we are going to, of course, here on SportsGrid, have you covered for all of those games. My favorite bet on this slate tonight is in the big game between New York and Vegas. That's a Jewel Lloyd 2+ made threes prop at -120. Jewel Lloyd, since going to the bench, sees 70% of her field goal attempts come from beyond the arc. That number was 53% prior to the benching. That means that Jewel Lloyd now is finding ways to impact the game in bunches, in spurts, be a legitimate threat off of the bench, 6th man of the year way we see in the NBA. And that's exactly what Vegas needs, and I think it's what Vegas gets tonight in a big-time matchup with the New York Liberty. And we can circle back to this before we get out of here, but we still have Tom Vecchio with us on this Wednesday night, who will be with you for the next week hosting Game Time Decisions. And we get a little bit caught up in a little bit of Jalen Hurts QB1 conversation, and that is what it is. But there are 7 season-long player props yesterday, Tom, that I went through. My favorite 7. I'm going to read them off. You tell me the one that catches your eye, good or bad. The quarterbacks were Josh Allen and Cam Ward. Josh over the 3,750.5. Cam Ward over the 3,200.5. I took Jalen Waddle and DK Metcalf, each at the same number. That's 925.5. Played Ramondre Stevenson over 625 and a hook. Amarian Hampton over 850 and a half, and then a 950 and a half number for Chuba Hubbard. The reality is they're all overs, which means there's obviously inherent risk and some health, but I don't think anybody is creeping through these numbers. I believe every single one of these guys can smash the number that I'm betting they're over on. Again, Tom, I throw it to you. Who of the 7 jumps out first?
One would be DK Metcalf, and it's not based on him. It's based on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is bad. So DK Metcalf in his own could be good, could have great underlying metrics, yards per route run, whatever you want to look at. But Aaron Rodgers simply can't get him the ball effectively or efficiently. Therefore, he falls under. Ramondre Stevenson, he simply ends up not playing because he's not good, and Travion Henderson takes over the lead role and goes for close to 1,000 yards, and he is literally like Stevenson just gets completely pushed out of the offense, and he's just a non-factor. And then same thing with DK, I guess what Jalen Waddle is, Tua being very injury prone. Their offense was abysmal last year when Tua didn't play. Therefore, no one sees the ball.
So let's address all of that there. I'll start with DK Metcalf. Aaron Rodgers last year basically had 2,000-yard receivers. Garrett Wilson went for 1,100, and Devontae Adams was on pace to go way over that in the 11 games he played with the Jets. He ended up going for 854. DK Metcalf does not even have a real... I think DK Metcalf has some of the easiest target competition of his career. It's Jonnu Smith. I think that Metcalf number would be the number if Pickens was still there, quite frankly. So I think Metcalf can get through that because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is his MVP self, but I think Aaron Rodgers is still good enough to get the ball to his number 1 wide receiver for 1,000 yards. For Jalen Waddle, the Tua health injury concerns are absolutely legitimate. I think Tyreek Hill could be traded in the middle of this season, and I think I could end up with the number 1 wide receiver on Miami. Now, okay. Jalen Waddle has been a 1,000-yard receiver in the first 3 seasons of his career. Last year fell under that. So there's avenues to get home, Tom, without Tyreek get trading. But I think that's a bit of a hidden value on Waddle this year, where he ends up the number 1 wideout on the Miami Dolphins. And then for Ramondre Stevenson, simply put, 625.5 for a guy who's RB1 on the depth chart. It'd be different if I was giving you numbers similar to other RB1s on depth charts there. I think the New England Patriots could win 9-10 games. And I don't think Travion Henderson, who's in a split backfield at Ohio State, is ever going to have a 25-carry game for the New England Patriots.
Okay. Maybe I'm just higher on Henderson compared to other people. I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is good, whether he was RB1, he was in a backfield with no rookies, whether he was in a backfield with all veterans. They never drafted Henderson. I don't think Stevenson's good.
Fair enough. I think Vrabel will lean on the veteran a little bit more than most. Again, Henderson's spice is in that receiving game a little bit more. Tom, a pleasure as always. I leave it to Tom for a week. We leave it in-game live next on SportsGrid.